Television, a medium that's entertained us and that has emotionally connected the world and brands for years. It wasn't until the birth of the television or commercial television networks back in the 40s that we had a scalable platform that was able to deliver television to a mass audience. Now, some 60 years later, the media paradigm has shifted, has experienced a tectonic shift towards consuming media online. And just as important, the medium has shifted the control of producing content from the large studios towards the consumer. Now, with fragmented audiences and an ever-growing number of platforms, brands face the enormous challenge of finding their audience before they can start the engagement process. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Higgins, Director of Video for Adconion Media Group. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today and to share our vision of becoming the world's largest content syndication and monetisation platform. Now, before we jump into it, I'd like to take a step back and just share with you a little bit about Adconion. Excuse me. We're slightly queued out. I'll push through. So it's a focus of understanding and connecting with audiences is why we call ourselves the Audience Network. Now, with an audience reach of nearly 300 million unique users, and by leveraging our proprietary software combined with a strict policy code, we're able to aggregate these audiences. Now, combining our reach with tailored reporting and quality data, we're able to connect with audiences, specific audiences, at specific times across multiple channels and across platforms too. Now, when addressing our content strategy and referring to the video content strategy some 18 months ago, we were faced with industry-wide barriers that needed to be addressed. If we're going to succeed, and before I do, I'd like to click back to one little video as a slight introduction so you know where we're heading and what I'm talking about. So you can just freeze frame and hold that image of how the user integrated there and interacted with the content and started streaming the Obama, because it'll help set up the conversation ahead. Now, when I was referring to these barriers that the industry-wide face, there are two main barriers that I'd like to address. And the single largest barrier is scale. And when I'm referring to scale of video online, I'm referring to the amount of time and energy agencies must put into their planning and buying to achieve an effective reach and frequency to be able to move brand metrics. In addition to this, there is a lack of standardisation around the ad unit production, which is another additional cost. And compounded with this, we also have challenges around quality content. Now, the demand, there's a huge demand for this quality content that we're not able to provide for, specifically referring to online content. Now, it's with both of these and understanding the two challenges around scale, content, and it's with great anticipation that I share with you the solution being Adconion TV, our content syndication and monetisation platform, and Red Lever, our dedicated digital development studio. So jumping straight into it, when we're talking about Adconion TV, and there's a lot of questions of what actually is it? It's our world's largest content syndication and monetisation platform that leverages the attributes that are unique to the web. And they are interactivity, the data and analysis, and the rapid optimisation. So that's the ability to optimise in real time. And what we've done, we've taken a very simple standard pull model, and when I refer to a pull model of video online, I'm referring to site destination, flipped it on its head and turned it into a push model. Let me give you some examples and some visuals as well as how this works. So can I get just a raise of hands of those people that may have heard of Hulu or interacted with Hulu? Yep, fairly common. For those of you that may not, it's a premium content destination. So when people want to watch specific content, they'll type in hulu.com and go to this site. Now imagine taking everything that Hulu has and syndicating it through a traditional ad unit. So it doesn't sound too exciting just yet, but then imagine here that we're layering in all the targeting capabilities of the Audience Network, and we're also standardising the ad units so that we've got efficiencies in production and planning and buying metrics. So the example here, 300 by 250 ad, the user's experience is a scroll over, multiple video ad units to interact with, and then to pick and choose. So an obvious question that I will receive, and I'm sort of preempting some of these, is that will Adconion have its own destination page, such as adconion.com? The answer to that is just simply no, we won't be doing that. So a follow-up question that I'm anticipating is, well, how do people find Adconion TV? And the answer to that is really, we find them, they don't find us. And we find them based on their behaviour, which is why it was important to set up the scene of understanding our core competencies, which is our ad server or content server, and our behavioural targeting capabilities. So let me give you an analogy. You're a bar. Your bar is called Cheers. You're on the high street. It's a busy road. You're a happy place. Everyone knows your name. We are Adconion, the cocktail bar. Now, the difference here is that we will be identifying and serving drinks to people based on certain behaviours. And that may be that Dave up the back there eats pretzels, and we know that he's thirsty because he's just eaten pretzels, so we'll serve him a drink. We'll know that Emily down the front here has just been jogging and is thirsty, so we'll serve her drinks. We'll know that Dave and Caroline have just got engaged, and we'll prompt them with celebratory drinks. So that big difference between I know where to go and I can walk in and out, and then having the optimisation and the power of technology and data combined and harness is very explosive. So let me build this out for you. What are the drivers behind it? Well, we start off with a high HD content server. This is the engine room that enables content to be syndicated out. Layered upon that, we have DRM and MRM. So DRM, digital rights management, most of you should be familiar with. You may not have heard of MRM, which is the monetization rights management. It's effectively abiding by the rules that are governed with the content contract. In addition to that, it's the distribution of revenue, and in this case, between advertisers, publishers, and content providers. We then layer on the audience profile targeting, so learning about and segmenting audiences, and more relevant targeting. As I was saying before, we've recognised that Dave has just eaten a pretzel and he's likely to be thirsty, so we'll prompt him with a drink. Again, the audience network, offering reach and scale. Building on it again, custom content. So I mentioned before Red Lever, which is our dedicated digital production house. Now, not only will they create the rich media assets that we deliver the content in, but they will produce short-form content. It's worth noting here, though, we are not going out to compete against agencies or creative agencies, that we're there to enable them, where a lot of these businesses don't have the digital skills. So this is very much helping the market and injecting the market with the tools that it needs to really engage the users, to engage agencies and brands into a video environment. Now, the real-time reporting and analytics we refer to as the feedback loop. Here's that opportunity that I've heard for a couple of days of you have data, you have great content, you have interaction with advertisers or with audiences, but no one's able to really monetize it. Well, this is where we stand apart and saying monitor in real time and react accordingly. It's as simple as that. And then, of course, local knowledge. Well, it speaks for itself. Well, when we wrap this all together, we pull together the high tech of the company. But that can only work when you have the high touch. And the high touch for Adconion TV is made up of 100 plus salespeople in 16 markets around the world, and also supported with the dedicated sales support and operations staff. So let's talk about some examples very briefly before I wrap up. Michael Eisner, ex-Disney, he has his own content production company producing short-form content. It's called The Guru for the web. He came to us saying, I've built this website, I've got the great content, I've even got a sponsor, which is Skype, so sold in a traditional TV sponsorship package, but I don't know how to get my content out to the audience. So this is where we feel the right of the distribution platform. Here, we stream banners based on the targeting profiles of sports-orientated males 18 to 34. We have the targeting, we also have the scale. This gave us the ability to hit the right audience and then generate more than 2 million views within 48 hours. Now, that's part of the story. A lot of people can do that. Here's where it gets really exciting based on two different avenues. If you're the content producer and you've got a numerous series, we start off by serving Series 1, and all of those people that we know have seen or watched 75 to 100% of Episode 1, we'll then follow up and serve Episode 2, and so on and so on, which is great for the content producer to start maximising and monetising their investment. Now, on the advertiser's side, we also have the opportunity here to drive a lot of efficiencies in media. We'll deliver Ad 1, which is the content, the sponsorship, and then straight after that and sequentially, we can start serving display ads that are a fraction of the cost. So here's the example. Imagine knowing that you could control serving a television commercial, then 2 lots of really big billboard ads, frequency cap it. So what's happened here is we've had a high touch, a high brand experience. It's also at a premium cost. And then standard display ads that are a lower cost, bringing down the overall eCPM, and also the ability to learn about who's engaging and what's going on. Some of the other examples here is, is it just our content or advertisers' content or, specific content here? Let's throw it out to the paid channels, pay TV. Here is an opportunity to leverage the digital world for its key attributes. We can syndicate your content based on the target audience using potentially unique content. We stimulate engagement of people saying this is great content. By the way, would you like to subscribe? Database generation, viral seeding, etc., etc. So just very briefly, I'd like to finish off in saying that there is, and I've heard a lot about the need for less partners. There's more strain on agencies, less resources, and a greater need for intelligence with all the few partners that the agencies and clients have. And I believe that based on our scale and our technology and our ability to understand audiences, that we're well positioned to support the agencies. So look, on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to speak in front of you. And if you have any questions later, then I'm happy to engage and answer. And I'll just leave you with a few little notes.